Hi everyone. Well, after such a lovely day today with plenty of sunshine, despite it being cold, it was really quite nice out there. But tomorrow, totally different day with a lot of cloud, rain, sleet, and even some snow mixed in. Now, where the snow falls is a bit difficult to pinpoint at the moment, but I'll give you a bit of an idea of what things are actually looking like. But before we get to that part, we're going to show you this little system here. So this is what's going to be bringing the rain, sleet and snow across from the Atlantic, and it's going to move towards the western part of the channel here and then dive through into France. Now, we were expecting this even last Sunday when we mentioned on our weekly outlook, and it still looks like doing much the same as we originally expected with it. The worst of it actually missing us, but of course this rain, sleet and possible snow moving through. Then as we move through Friday, the winds change direction, and then Saturday and Sunday the winds go back into the southwest. Overlay the arrows briefly here. You can see these winds coming back in from the southwest, and it looks very windy indeed and very mild and wet at times as well. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about tomorrow's potential snow. So let's have a quick look at that. So this is the zoomed in rain map or precipitation map for tomorrow morning at 8 AM, and you can actually see right across the island we've got a lot of rain, mostly in the should I say completely rain in the east here, but with some sleety stuff a bit further west. So this isn't completely snow, this is just a little bit of sleet, maybe a little bit of snow over the highest hilltops. And then as we move it to 10 AM, sorry, you can see that it really is pretty much just rain across the island, but maybe still a little bit of sleetiness or a little bit of snow over the highest hills in the west and possibly down the southwest by this point as well. By midday, the actual temperatures fall away for a little while here, because it seems likely that we could see some much heavier precipitation moving through. Now, anything that falls will bring down colder air with it, so the heavier that it is, the more cold air it brings down with it, and the more likely it is to stay as snow by the time it reaches ground level. So you can actually see here that this isn't going to be exactly around midday, but it is given an indication that there will be some heavier pockets moving through, really between 11 AM and 2 PM. And with these heavier pockets, we could see some heavier snow mixed in. So this is where we could start to see a little bit of accumulation over the highest hills. I guess it could possibly be a little bit of slushy covering down on lower levels as well. But still out here towards the east, it's still looking like rain with barely even any sleet mixed in. And all the snow risk really, or the sleet and the highest sleet and snow risk is always going to be in central and western parts here. And then as we move into 2 PM, by 2 PM we're seeing not much different really. We're still seeing some sleety, possibly some wet snow over the hills out here to the west, perhaps affecting more southern and even southeastern parts here over the highest hills by this point, as the winds start to turn and change direction more into the northeast. And then by 4 PM the temperatures drop away, and there's a little bit of light, sleety, snowy, drizzly stuff around for a while before it completely clears away. So yeah, it does certainly look like we will see a bit of snow in a few places. So let's have a quick run through of the temperature and winds through tonight and into tomorrow. And you can see that this is 8 PM this evening, so it's not far off of what it is now, as this video is being recorded. And you can see the temperatures are between 1 and 2 degrees across the island as a whole in a moderate northwesterly wind. Now, you can see as we move through the night, it drops away for a bit, but then the temperatures start to rise later in the night as this cloud starts to push in. Now look at this, as the rain and sleet start to arrive, look how mild it actually becomes here on the east coast, and even the south coast. So we're looking at 5 or maybe even 6 degrees Celsius for a time. So that's certainly nowhere near cold enough for snow. However, a bit further inland we see 3s and 4s. Now this is cold enough for sleet, but not quite enough for snow at this point. And then by 10 AM we still see the temperatures much the same, 4, 5 in more eastern parts, towards the west down towards 3 or 4. And then by midday, this is when that heavier precipitation is likely to move through, we see the temperatures falling away, so 1 or 2 degrees likely across many parts of the island, but still quite mild down here in the south, with the winds still coming in off the English Channel. And you can see here there's a bit of a difference. So there's a slight what's called a convergence zone where the winds blow towards each other. And this is actually one of the things that can create these heavier outbreaks of rain or showery spells as the winds meet each other and move upwards into the atmosphere. And it creates larger, higher clouds, and in turn we get some heavier precipitation falling, which in this case will be rain in the east, sleet along quite a lot of areas, and then snow possibly over high ground and maybe out towards the west here. So then as we move through into the afternoon, the temperatures come back up 2, 3, 4 degrees Celsius. And as this rain, sleet and snow moves away, then the skies clear and the temperatures fall back close to freezing. So there's going to be some icy patches tomorrow. So even if we don't get much in the way of snow, it looks like we're going to see a lot of ice developing towards tomorrow evening, at least for a time before the wind starts to pick up once again. So this is how it's looking at the moment. Eastern parts, rain with little hail, sleet at times, perhaps the odd snowflake mixed in over high ground, and that'll be towards the end of the spell of precipitation as it moves away towards more the far west coast and sort of really kind of central northeastern parts. Is roughly the same kind of conditions likely, so rain and sleet with some snow over high ground at times. We don't expect any accumulations, but snow could fall down to lower levels now and then during the heavier spells. And then in the area that's a little bit more blue there, we've got a whole mixture of things going on. We've got rain, sleet and snow, but the higher likelihood to see snow down to lower levels at times. We're not really expecting any accumulations, but we could see a little bit maybe on the cars and that, and during the heavier spells. Anyway, that's all for now. Enough rambling from me. Of course, we'll give you another update in the morning, and we'll see if anything has changed. But for now, that's it. Goodbye.